You may be seated. Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, ow! Ouch! Ouch! Have you ever heard a litany like that? A litany of cries and moans and groans from someone? If you've got kids or you've been around kids, you've probably heard something like that, maybe even more than once. When kids get hurt, they tend to let you know. In addition to letting you know that they hurt, kids also tend to want to know when that pain is going to go away. They want to know how long it's going to last. When is that stinging going to stop from that cut? When is that not going to feel isn't going to feel sore anymore from that bruise when I fell? How long before that throbbing, that pounding goes away? As we get older, we tend to get a little bit better at dealing with pain from injuries. And part of that comes from the experience of learning that pain, if we just kind of tough it out, it slowly goes away and fades. Yet even though, as we get older, we tend to get better at dealing with physical pain, there are some pains that we still have trouble dealing with. When we look out at the world around us and we see all of the problems that fill this life, when we see the violence that surrounds us, we see the injustice that fills our world, there's a part of us that wants to know how long. How long is God going to let this continue on? How long before God comes and steps in and deals with this problem? Sometimes when we see the problems of this life, we get a little impatient for God to fix them, to deal with them. How long, O Lord, before you deal with this problem, or that problem, this pain, or that injustice? Even though those questions are easy to ask in our day and age, they aren't new for believers. Christians have been asking that question, how long, for centuries, even for millennia. In fact, that question, how long, God, before you step in and deal with these problems in this life, that's the question that's at the heart of the book of Habakkuk. As the prophet Habakkuk looked at the world around him in particular, as he looked at the nation of Israel that he lived among, he saw violence and corruption. And there was a part of him that wondered, how long, Lord, how long is it going to be before you step in and you deal with this violence that is running rampant through the people of Israel? How long before you come and you deal with all the injustice that's going on in this nation? Because that question, how long, is a question that we sometimes wrestle with, God's answer to Habakkuk is an answer that is helpful for you and me. It's an answer that's helpful. And as we listen to that answer tonight, I'd like you to pay attention to how the Lord reminds Habakkuk and points out to him that he is at work. Even when it doesn't look like God is dealing with the violence and the injustice of this world, he is at work to bring it to judgment. One of the reasons why we tend to miss it is because God works through people. He told Habakkuk how he would work through another kingdom in order to punish the people who were in charge in that nation of Israel and who were causing all of the violence and injustice. God still today works through people in order to carry out his judgment in time. And he carries out that judgment even in situations where it looks like it's impossible, where no one would have believed it, even if God had told them. A lesson from Habakkuk chapter 1. The oracle that Habakkuk the prophet saw. O Lord, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not hear? Or cry to you violence, and you will not save? Why do you make me see iniquity, and why do you idly look at wrong? Destruction and violence are before me, strife and contention arise. So the law is paralyzed, and justice never goes forth. For the wicked surround the righteous, so justice goes forth perverted. The Lord answered, Look among the nations and see, wonder and be astounded. For I am doing a work in your days that you would not believe if told. For behold, I am raising up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, who march through the breadth of the earth to seize dwellings not their own. They are dreaded and fearsome. Their justice and dignity go forth from themselves. Their horses are swifter than leopards, and more fierce than the evening wolves. Their horsemen press proudly on. Their horsemen come from afar. They fly like an eagle swift to devour. They all come for violence, all their faces forward. They gather captives like sand. At kings they scoff, and at rulers they laugh. They laugh at every fortress, for they pile up earth and take it. Then they sweep by like the wind and go on. Guilty men whose own might is their God. This is the word of the Lord. We'll continue with hymn 22.